Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for December 27th, 2011. It is currently 9:33 a.m. and we are warming up steadily throughout the entire northern mid-Atlantic. Now, what we have in place here is some cold temperatures, but this cold air, should I say, is starting to give away. And we know that because the dew points are rising steadily through the 20s into the 30s. And by the time rainfall, which is currently over the Ohio River Valley, reaches the northern mid Atlantic, most locations will be above freezing, which means this is an all rain event. And we can be confident of that because winds are coming in from the east, especially now over southern New Jersey and southeastern Pennsylvania, and that will continue to transition into the northwestern interiors like northeastern Pennsylvania and the Hudson River Valley. Now, stating that, there is still going to be a threat for a little bit of sleet at the very beginning of this storm for portions of, let's say, northeastern Pennsylvania, like Scranton and Wilkes-Barre. But for the most part, this will be a rain event. Now, when we take a look at the radar, you can see heavy rain is developing throughout the southern mid-Atlantic, the Ohio River Valley, and exiting the Tennessee River Valley, associated with a strong low-pressure system that will track towards the eastern Great Lakes. This track is very important because this track will force a lot of warm air into the region and keep everyone on the wet side rather than the white side. So, as you can see, we're going to be dealing with plenty of rainfall this afternoon, especially this evening into the early morning hours of tomorrow morning. Looking for anywhere from about a half an inch to an inch of rainfall for most locations, possibly a little bit more than that in a few isolated spots, but for the most part we're looking at an inch of rain, so watch out when you're driving this evening for some slick roadways. Taking a look at the infrared satellite picture, you can see our storm is lifting north and east, and we have a cold front approaching from the northwest. Now, this cold front and the polar disturbance associated with it is going to kick this storm out rather quickly. You might be wondering, why is this not a snowstorm? Why are we not having a winter storm? Take a look at this high pressure system. When this high pressure system is to the east or southeast of New Jersey, that means rain. If the high pressure system was, let's say, around northern Maine or around the St. Lawrence River Valley, then what you get is what's called cold air damming, and then you get a different storm track. You get a storm track along the coast or over the coastal waters, which leads to a much better potential for snowfall. This current pattern clearly is not supportive for such a storm. So this cold front will move through and kick this storm out by, let's say, early tomorrow morning. And then for tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be cold, it's going to be windy. We're talking about temperatures in the 40s, wind chills in the 30s. A far different weather pattern than what we've been dealing with for the past few days. So let's take a look at the European model guidance, which I'm leaning on, but to be honest, there is limited support for the model guidance this morning, but it's been the most consistent, so I'm staying with it for now. So again, for this evening, here's our low pressure system tracking north and east towards the eastern Great Lakes. By tomorrow, that low pressure system has exploded over the Canadian Maritimes and over northeastern Canada, which is going to create a very strong pressure gradient, which is why it's going to be very windy tomorrow, windy and cold. So be prepared for some rather brutal wind chills, especially considering what we are used to. We're talking about wind chills in the lower 30s. So it's going to be a bit of a shock to the system, that is for sure. Moving on through the rest of the week, dry on Thursday, but then we have a few disturbances moving through on Friday and Saturday that will produce a few scattered rain and snow showers. Nothing too significant, but certainly something to keep an eye on if you're out there traveling. Could be a snow shower even as far south as Atlantic City, New Jersey, but for the most part, no accumulation whatsoever. As we move in towards early next week, high pressure again is in control for Sunday and Monday, providing excellent weather conditions. And then we're going to have to keep an eye on this storm right here. Now what we have is an Arctic cold front moving through, but the European model guidance strongly is hinting at a very powerful disturbance developing over the Mississippi River Valley, which would spawn this low pressure system that tracks up the coast and basically explodes. I am let's just say, not very confident in this solution, but I'm keeping it out there as a potential threat. Not 100%, not even 50% at this point of happening, but it's something to keep an eye on, especially if you are away from the coast. This could be the first snow producer of the year. But again, this type of pattern, I'm a little suspect in believing it because A, I don't have any real blocking in the northern Atlantic, and B, this right here, this 500 millibar pattern configuration would suggest a bit more of a progressive weather pattern and kicking this out into the Atlantic rather than blowing up a storm along the East Coast. But it's something we're going to keep an eye on as we move forward into next week. So that is the forecast discussion for today. Of course, you can follow the latest weather information at nynjpaweather.com and nynjpaweather on Twitter and Facebook. Have a wonderful day.